Hey everybody, this is Billy at BTUFF. I'm here at Gailey's Marine in Bakersfield, California. I got a call from Steven saying they had an arsenal of wake surf boards. Let's go in there and let's check them out and let's see if we might find a board that you may like in 2020. All right, man, we're set here. You got another set of boards out. Now this is our skim board collection, right?
Yep.
All right, man, let's go.
Yeah, and really, you know, a lot of companies push having a quiver of boards, not just one. And this is the reason why there's so many different boards in each style of board, and they're all a little bit different.
Yeah.
You know, we can take two boards from one company that look similar and have a completely different ride out of them. So
Really?
We'll just start up at the top again.
All right, let's do it.
This is the Ronix Carbon Aircore 3 skimmer.
Yeah.
So full carbon layout, making it really stiff, really fast on the water.
Really light too.
Yeah, with the carbon, you're not going to get as much flexation out of the board.
Rigid.
So as you're driving down that wave, the board is solid and stiff, and it's going to generate a lot of speed there.
Yeah.
Just a pintail design with a single center fin. I think it comes with a 1-inch fin, maybe it's 1.5 inches. Most of the professional skimboard riders out there are running no fins at all.
I say nothing,
which
right?
is incredibly hard to do.
It is.
You're using that rail design to help the board dig, and it's very hard for most people. So I like a 1-inch fin on this. I think it comes with either a 1.5 or a 2-inch fin. But killer board just for skim style. Lots of spins, shove-its, big spins, that type of stuff.
They look really cool too, man. I mean, it's like, let's talk about this new pad right here.
Sure.
Because they're getting into some new pads, right? And I think Ronix is kind of taking the lead on it.
This comes from the surf industry.
Okay.
This material is called wax mat.
Okay.
And this one has a little bit of foam underneath it, but if you notice this one here, the wax mat is glued straight down to the board.
Right.
And what that's doing is it's allowing the rider to have more feel, because you can actually feel the board underneath you. You're not on top of a foam.
Right.
So just a little bit more control.
Yeah.
Some people have said they don't really like it, but I think when you get used to it, it's a completely different feel.
Super grippy.
Yeah.
In fact, I'd even say it's more grippier than the pads.
Yeah, very grippy. I have contemplated pulling the foam pad off the back of my board and adding wax mat to it, just because I like that.
Can you
really
get
good.
wax mat? Can you
Yeah,
order it?
yeah, we got it in stock over here.
Okay, wow,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, a couple different designs. So you got a normal pointed nose and then a wide nose design as well.
Wow, very cool.
So these two boards are actually very similar. This one here is the Aircore foam, which is a really light, really reactive foam with the carbon layout. And then this is the new Flyweight skimmer.
Dude, that thing is so light. That's the lightest board I've ever felt.
Yeah, really thin, really light, killer look to it with just the white with
so neat.
the spine down the middle.
Yeah.
Same sharp skim style edge, pintail back in. Again, I like it with the 1-inch fin. I rode these two back to back not too long ago, and I had ridden several boards at that point, and it was really hard to tell the differences between the two. But the carbon, it's a little bit faster because of that stiffness that it adds.
Okay.
So
yeah, the beautiful boards, man.
yeah, this whole Flyweight series just looks killer. So this is again in the Ronix Flyweight series, the bat tail thruster. So with this one, we're kind of blending the two boards. A little bit thicker, more like a natural surfboard, but that really sharp skim edge. With this board being so wide in the tail, you can basically bury all your weight to the back foot, be as far back in the pocket as you can get, and then just with a little bit of pressure onto the toe side edge, it just starts driving towards the boat. So really fun, really fast, 3-fin setup. Again, I preferred this one with the 2-fin setup, but the 3rd fin in the center makes it a little more stable. I didn't ride it with the single center fin, but it's just my preference. I prefer the outside fins.
Right.
So
They're
wax
wide,
mat
man.
top to it.
Super wide, man.
A lot of volume.
Yeah.
So again, with the idea that there's a lot of big guys out there that want to ride a shorter board, and by making the boards wider, it gives them the surface area they need and allows those bigger guys to have the volume and the push that they need in a board, but a shorter length to really do some hard turns at the bottom.
And not only that, but these lighter boards also help you get off the wake a little bit if you do want to do some aerials and stuff, right? They help that, and not only that, but the really rigid boards are even better because they snap off the lip.
Sure, yeah, and it's all about generating speed and momentum, and that's hard to do at 10.5 to 11.5 miles an hour. So having a little bit lighter board that can carry that momentum off the top of the wave will really help you get the fins out of the water a little bit and doing those true airs.
Right.
Again, with a blend of
Now this is, I've never seen a board like this before, and that is a snub, I mean a snub nose top with a round nose,
Yeah.
I mean rear.
Cold blunt nose. So pintail rear end with one single center fin, just like our true skimmers. Really sharp skim style edge on it.
Yeah.
Bit of wide nose.
Yeah.
So what's cool about this is,
I mean, if you looked at it, it looks like it's upside down, right?
Yeah, a little bit. The advantage to a board like this is we can take a guy that wants a true skim board but doesn't want to work as hard, and we can add a lot of volume to the front so that you're not constantly pumping. If you get tired and you rest on that front foot, you have a lot of surface area up here to keep the board floating and moving forward. But yeah, super fun to just do some really hard, sharp turns. Great for spinning. So if you're trying to learn that 360, a lot of people, instead of whipping a 360 around and relying on fins to grab and keep them stable and moving forward again, a lot of people do like a 180 up on the wave and a 180 out. And this is really good for that, because as you get into that switch stance and you're backwards, there's a lot of volume here. So even if your weight is buried onto the nose, we got enough surface area here to keep you moving forward.
Yeah.
So yeah, really fun board. I wasn't really stoked on it when I first saw it, and then I went out and rode it, and it's like, yeah, we definitely need to have these in the shop. So a little bit different, but a lot of fun. I mean, that's wake surfing, right?
Yeah, right.
Wake surfing has always been a little different. It's not wakeboarding, it's not ocean surfing, so why not have fun with it?
Yeah.
Virally action, getting back to just a natural skim style board. This one, if you notice, we do have several sets of holes here.
Wow.
So you can run it 3 fins across the back, 1 in the center, and stagger them, move them way up front if you want to. So really a lot of versatility to dial in the board the way you want it. This particular board, I like to ride with 1 center fin and then 1 here and here.
Okay.
I found if I move this fin up to here, it's just a little more loose than I typically like it.
Right.
These come with a real small fin. It's a 0.8, like a wakeboard style of fin. So very, very little drag out of these boards. So even though it is a skim board, most people are going to be running with 3 or 4 fins.
Little loosey goose on there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You know, one thing I've always liked about the Varials, man, they always have some of the coolest graphics.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of his style.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
Byerly's a legend for his graphics. He's always had stuff that's, you know, pretty hardcore, in your face kind of guy.
Yeah.
It, but still has that really clean look to it.
Yeah.
So,
What's the other side look like? Can we take a look at it? Oh, yeah, that's cool.
yeah. Full pad, traction pad on the top. I think that can be important on skim boards, because a lot of times if you're trying your first shove it or your first 360 shove it, you're not getting a foot here and here. You're kind of just landing wherever you can get your feet back on the board.
Yeah.
So the full grip to it, I think, adds a benefit to a lot of riders.
Yeah, nice looking piece.
So very similar shape to that in the Hyperlight line. It's the Hi-Fi. You notice it's a true pintail. It doesn't have that little flat edge on the back end, and then a little bit narrower through the front. The Action has kind of a beveled edge to it to make it a little bit forgiving, where this thing doesn't. Really sharp edge, very similar to our Flyweight skimmer from Ronex. So really thin, sharp edge, 1 single center fin. Actually, sorry, this one, similar to the Action, doesn't have the 5 fin placements, but 3. So on this particular one, I would ride it the same way I ride that. 1 center fin, 2 outsides. That may be a 0.6,
Yeah,
which
that's
is
small.
a really, really small
Right, it's supposed to
fin.
be really loosey-goose and
Yeah.
spinny and all that stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the Conley Legacy. Again, this is a 2019, 2020, should be in probably about 30 to 45 days.
Wow.
This is kind of a cool board. They call
Yeah.
it Construction Skelecore.
Let's say, man,
So-
I could see the core in it.
Yeah,
too.
so if you notice it, this is, these are cutouts in the foam itself. So it really makes it a little bit lighter weight. If you hold it up to the light, you can kind of see through it a little bit.
Yeah.
But just a different feel. It's not as dense up front. So you can get a little bit of flex out of it as you're pushing on it. This is similar to that Hyperlight shim, where it's something that can be ridden as a crossover. We got a pretty large fin on the back, 2-inch fins. It comes with 3 of them, so you can run a center fin if you want. Also comes with a small center fin, so if you want to ride it as a true skim board, you pop that small center fin on, pull the outside ones off. This uses a ghost grip, so similar to the wax mat that Ronex uses. It's just a grip that's glued to the top of the board. This one feels pretty slick when it's dry. When it gets wet, it offers a lot of grip to it.
Wow, that's crazy. I didn't even know you can't really tell it's there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's neat. Plus, it didn't take away from the aesthetics of being able to see the core.
Yeah.
Right? That was probably like what they wanted you to be able to see.
Yeah,
Probably
that's
and when you're
the
out in the
thing.
sun, it probably looks real cool.
The thing with these boards is there's a lot of technology in them, and the constructions of them are pretty high tech, and there's really no way to show off what's inside the board. So just a different way to look at things, and really fun board just to go out and charge on.
Yeah, very cool. All right, man, to wrap this all up, I said, man, pick me out 5 of your favorite boards, and here they are, man. So we're going to start over here. Let's start with this one, right?
Sure, yeah,
Right.
this is...
That's what I ride, and I can tell you right off that I love this thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is the Ronex Sprocket. Again, a full carbon board, similar to the skimmer, which is going to add stiffness. If you notice, it's got a lot of thickness up in the front and kind of tapers down as we move to the back.
Yeah.
So this is a board that is going to generate a lot of speed, and as you're coming down into a turn with a lot of speed, the volume in the front is going to help keep the nose up out of the water. It has some channeling in the back end of the board.
That's what I really liked about it, is that the channel, because it's kind of like I said, a skim board, but with channels in it, right?
Yeah, so this is designed to be kind of like a thruster. Super fast, super hard charging. 2 or 3 fin setup. You ride it with 1 fin?
2 and
Right,
1.
2.
I've done both, yeah.
Yeah, so just something that's going to generate a lot of speed and just give you that big natural hard surf style of turn. It does have a sharp rail on it. It uses that to help generate speed, but because you have so much speed, you almost need to use that rail to help slow you down when you go into a hard turn as well.
A lot of fun if you have a boat that has a lip on it. A lot of fun, man. It's just like, it's a blast.
Yeah. Not only will the fins add drive, but this rail does as well. So when you're making hard turns, the board is just locked in the turn. It's not like a board with a rounded rail that wants to float up to the surface and kind of skip out from underneath you. So just really fast, hard charging board. Carbon layout. They added a little bit more graphic to it for this year just to give it some pop, but killer board. As we move down, I'd say as far as a surf style of board, lately this one's been my favorite. The new conductor from Ronex.
Wow.
They brought a conductor out in 2019. The board was great, but it didn't really ride how they wanted it to, so they made some changes to it. So a little bit of channeling here in the tail. Got a little bit of a rail in here where it's going to add grip, but a nice flat surface through here, and then that big, thick, rounded rail for those
This is
big
unique
sole
right
turns.
here. You don't see that very much, a side rail. I mean, you know what I mean, like that.
It's more of a wakeboard type of feature. And what having this little pocket does is it actually allows air to get between the board and the water to allow it to rise off the surface and break loose a little bit easier.
Okay.
So just a natural surfboard with big, hard carving turns.
Yeah.
So wax mat on the top, that super clean flyweight look to it with the all white and just the spine down the middle.
Clean
Looks
looking.
killer.
Yeah. Really cool.
There's been a lot of talk about the Varial stuff from Hyperlight. These are made for Hyperlight by Varial Surf Company out of Ventura. Varial has their own special foam that they created, as well as an epoxy that they created to go with their boards. They're very, very strong, extremely lightweight. So if you think some of those other boards are light, these things are extremely lightweight. The great thing about these boards is they don't break down and soften up over time like a lot of other boards will.
Really?
So if you're the type of guy that's just really charging hard, getting airs, landed down in the bottom of the wave, these boards are made for that abuse.
And is this gonna hold it better than like a surfboard glass? Or is it pretty similar on the delicate side?
No, they will hill ding a little bit just because of the foam in it. But
because the surfboard's going to get like surface cracks, you know what I mean? It just does. There's no way you're not going to get that.
Yeah,
right?
we haven't seen any cracks in the top sheet at all. It will get some hill dings in it because of that foam underneath. But it doesn't break the foam down like a natural surfboard will.
Okay.
And if you follow any of the Varial ocean surfers, those guys will tell you like, man, I've been riding the same board for months and it still feels like it's brand new. It still has that liveliness and that snap to it.
Yeah.
And we don't need that as much in the wake surf world, but this is really high-end stuff and it feels awesome under your feet.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the Exacta here. I ride it just like this, 2 fins on the outside. You know, just kind of a custom grip on top.
That's cool.
I think that's one thing that scares people a little bit about these is, yeah, they are a high-end board. We're talking $1,000 plus for the board, plus grip, plus fins. But that's like an ocean surfboard. You know, you buy a board, then you find the grip you want, you find the fins you want, you find the leash you want, and you piece it all together. So we threw a couple of them together and just to give people an idea what they could look like. This one's been really fun. This is the Mothership. They kind of had Noah Flegel help them out with this design. A little bit wider nose, still, if you notice, very thin on the tip, but nice wide rail to it. Nice wide back end, so doing those airs and coming down, you got a lot of surface area on the back to land on. 4 fins set up on this one. I prefer it with 2 outside fins, and I think most people that are riding this level of board would probably just be riding with the 2 forward fin positions. Last not least, Conley, those guys knocked it out of the park with this one, the Ono. So full epoxy layout. It's got the ghost grip on the top. We can run 4 fins on it, or just 2 outside fins like this one set up. These are a futures fin set where you can pop them in and out, but they're not spring loaded like the Ronix ones are. So a little bit different, but still toolless. So easy to pop the fins in and out throughout the day.
In and out with them, that's cool. And they have their own set of fins, right? That you could get.
Yes, yeah. They come with these fins and then a little smaller one that can go in the back. This is a 2019 colorway. For 2020, they've changed to blue, and just a really killer looking board for 2020. So
really cool.
Yeah, this has been a fun board. We went out and rode it, and it was like, man, that thing's killer. A lot of people are going to be interested in it, and I think we reordered these 3 or 4 times throughout the year. So killer board from Conley.
Man, I'll tell you what, you guys have a large selection of boards here. If you have any questions, you can always call Gailey's Marine here in Bakersfield, California, and I'm sure Steve here would love to talk to you about it.
Absolutely. Come see us. You could hit us up on the web. Go to gaileys.com. That's our pro shop site. We got all the gear on there. We got clearance stuff on there. So whatever you need, we're here to help you.
And we're gonna get in some other video too. They got a large selection of wake surf boats here. A large, man. Probably one of the largest selections in California.
Moomba, Supra, and Nautique. We feel like they're the best brands in their respective categories. So we'll walk you through those a little bit, and maybe we'll get out on the water soon.
Love it. All right, man. Thanks for showing us all that.
Absolutely.
All right, man. This is Billy at BTUFF.